resolution to the situation. The Foreign Ministry has stated that a resolution must guarantee peace and that the effort must look to secure a long-standing agreement, unlike previous efforts. This comes as Ukraine and Russia strike and disable each other's energy depots as well as resources. Amid all this, Ukrainian President Zelensky has now said that Washington's hesitation to provide Ukraine with Tomahawk missiles may be because Trump wants to avoid escalating this issue with Russia before meeting Putin face-to-face on the subject of this meeting. Zelensky has also shed doubt on Budapest being the best location for such a meeting and has affirmed his willingness to attend a trilateral meeting with Trump and Putin if invited. Now, for this discussion, we are joined by Glenn Grant. He's an ex-advisor to Defense Minister of Ukraine, joins us live from Riga. Thank you, Glenn, for joining us again. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, looking at this news, what do you think, what would a fundamental resolution to this war look like? And what do you think it would mean for Ukraine?
Well, let's be quite clear. We're in a mess at the moment. And one of the things that is quite clear is that a lot of people are taking what they see on the surface as being the reality, like the comments from the Russian Foreign Ministry, that nothing has changed. Russia wants to destroy Ukraine and take power over Ukraine. That is a fundamental, and they're not going to change that. And they've made that clear. What they think at the moment is that Putin, having been hard on Zelensky, that there might be some opening for weakness on Zelensky's side, but there isn't. In fact, if anything, the failure to give Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine from America is actually making the Ukrainians more stubborn about defending their territory and staying on the course. So there's not going to be a peace agreement. There's not going to be a nice line unless actually Russia withdraws from the territories that it's taken. So anybody who thinks or hopes otherwise, I think is just, is dreaming.
Right. And how do you think it should differ, if it were to happen, how do you think it should differ from previous peace efforts that have failed?
Well, they've all failed for the same fundamental reason, that this is an existential threat to the sovereignty and the existence of Ukraine, which its people cannot possibly agree to. So that, it just can't happen in that way. And I do not see this being any different from anything else, in that Trump thinks that he can bully Zelensky into giving up land for some nebulous peace that is not going to happen. And Putin thinks that Trump knows Trump is helping him in his act of gaining dominance for Ukraine. So it's not going to be any different. It doesn't matter what people think. This war is going to continue until one side breaks. And at the moment, frankly, I think Russia is closer to that than Ukraine.
Thank you for sharing that. And also, Glenn, we saw that, yesterday there were some speculations about Russia asking Ukraine to give up this particular area called Donetsk, and if I recall correctly, it was Luhansk as well. Can you tell us the strategic value of these locations to Ukraine and also to Russia? Why did Russia specifically talk about these regions?
I think that let's start with the Russia bit. I think that they talk about those regions because they want them because they're rich. You've got huge amounts of historic factories, minerals, and sort of energy resources in those areas, and that's why Russia wants them. And geopolitically, if they take those two areas, then they are getting a lot closer to the rear of Kyiv and the rear of Sumy in the north, and very, very close to Dnieper, which of course is one of the major cities, the powerhouses of Ukraine. down south, if they get Zaporizhzhia, they've already got the nuclear facilities there. So there's not much else they can get in that direction. So they'd be willing to give up a little, but it's not going to happen. That's the main thing that people need to get in their mind. Nobody is going to give up Donetsk and Luhansk for the simple reason that too much blood has been shed, and it's going to continue as it is at the moment.
Right. And lastly, Glenn, if Trump and Putin and this trilateral summit between Trump, Putin, and Zelensky were to happen, which location do you think has a potential of holding this?
Well, Budapest is a cynical location because of the Budapest memorandum that Putin trashed completely when he invaded. So it's very cynical. It's almost it's a power game, suggesting it should go to Budapest. And Trump is too stupid to understand what he's actually said by accepting that as a place. Also, Putin would find it very difficult to get there because he's got to go fly over NATO countries to get there. And I'm not sure those NATO countries will accept a flight from Russia. So if they want a three-way, it's got to be somewhere that Putin can get to where he considers safely, where he's not at risk. And frankly, there are not many places like that. Maybe somewhere in Turkey,
Yes.
but Alaska again, perhaps, because they've done it there once already. But this is going to be challenging, and I notice the Russians are already saying this is quite difficult for them.
Right. Thank you for sharing that, Glenn. Please stay with us as we stay on this topic now. Lithuania's Foreign Minister Kęstutis Budrys has slammed the possibility of Trump and Putin meeting in Budapest, saying that there is no place for Russian President Vladimir Putin in any European capital. Budrys added that the only place for Putin in Europe is in The Hague, in front of the criminal tribunal, referring to the arrest warrant issued for the Russian president by the International Criminal Court in the Dutch city. The comments were made ahead of a meeting of European foreign ministers in Luxembourg. Now, for this discussion, we go back to Glenn Grant. He's an ex-advisor to Defense Minister of Ukraine, joins us live from Riga. Thank you, Glenn, for staying with us.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. As we were just talking about which city, it does look like even Lithuanian Foreign Minister has shown critic of this choice of location. And so what are the implications of holding potential trilateral meeting with Trump, Zelensky and Putin? And also, do you think that it could happen, if it were to happen in Alaska again, do you think Zelensky should be, of course he should be invited, but do you think they will invite Zelensky this time?
It's a very good question. But to be frank, any meeting between Trump and Putin is going to be a love fest, whatever happens. And there can be no peace without Zelensky at the table. So it's got to be a three-way meeting. But I do not see Putin wanting to face up to Zelensky at the moment, because Putin has got nothing to offer. And he knows that. He knows that what he wants is submission from Zelensky, and he knows that Zelensky will not submit. So actually, Zelensky saying that he wants to be there is a direct threat to the credibility of Putin, because if it goes on television and the Russians all see that Putin is actually not strong enough to actually talk down Zelensky, even with Trump behind him, he's going to lose face. So if Zelensky says he's coming, my guess is that Trump is going to find a good reason for staying away.
And what do you think this Lithuania's remarks, and then we've seen some, like Hungary, say something else. So should Europe maintain a unified stance on isolating Putin, or do you think there is value in allowing dialogue under certain conditions?
No, Let's be clear. If this happens in a European country, then Europe has lost face badly, and there will be considerable unhappiness amongst those countries that are actually supporting Ukraine directly. For example, Germany. There are some that would say, well, dialogue is more important, but dialogue can only flourish if there is the possibility of it flourishing, and at the moment that possibility does not exist. Russia is not tired enough yet to want to make concessions, and Zelensky cannot make concessions. So it will be just going round the houses again for the same sort of things that we've had before, actually time wasting and energy wasting. So I think that the majority of Europeans know that, European countries know this, and what the foreign minister of